Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Charlie with 4BZ Truth Channel. Wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of what I was thinking about. Something triggered my thoughts on the War of Ideologies, and I'll just apologize in advance. I mean, I got to do everything on a whim nowadays. My schedule is just so full lately. Working full time, working my side business, just spending as much time with my family as I can. Um, I don't want to be an absentee father, so I'm spending as much time with my son as I possibly can. Um, but, you know, the reason I want to call this video the War of Ideologies is when I was driving by, uh, getting ready to just pull out of my subdivision, um, my my neighbor put up a Confederate flag, and that's inherently not like evil per se, but it depends on your interpretation of what that is. And I'm going to kind of just give a little bit of a rant on the philosophy of interpretation, number one, and number two, ideologies, basically how people project their bias and are always looking for confirmation bias, and and their interpretation of other people's perspectives. So I'm going to try to hone in a little bit on basically the relational aspects of ideology, because I feel like in some ways, when you got a melting pot of cultures kind of coming together, you just have to have a certain level of acceptability. You want to make sure that people feel like they are not, you know, uh, I don't know, rejected in society. This is the worst that I've ever seen our country as far as, you know, the U.S., the United States. We are supposed to be one of the most accepting, of different cultures and different ideologies of any country out there. Now, with all the riots and all the stuff that's gone on, it's clear that we are not accepting of certain ideologies. So now, my thought process on this, and again, so the neighbors had a Confederate flag. As soon as this guy put it up, his next door neighbor, who was across the street from me, put up a flag that was in support of gay pride, or it was like a rainbow flag, and I think it said love will win, or whatever. And I started thinking about how all these different perspectives are kind of like dogmas, right? You have different people that are presenting different things, and sometimes you just have to find a common ground. You have to define terms. So there's a reason why I'm actually talking about this. I feel like people need to understand that sometimes you don't interpret uh, what people are trying to project to the world correctly. So this guy that put out a Confederate flag, some people will say, "Oh, this guy's a racist. He's white supremacist or something like that." Now, I decided to walk up to him when he was out in his front yard, and I said, "Hey, man, what's going on?" And he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And so I was like, forgive me for prying, but I talk a lot about philosophy and trying to understand people's perspectives on my YouTube channel. And I had a question about the Confederate flag. Is there any like motivation behind putting that up, or? Uh, and he's like, actually, with the state of the country right now, I'm just trying to stand up for, you know, uh, stand up against the tyranny is basically what it's trying to say. And I'm like, so you're not trying to promote any kind of white supremacy or speak against Black Lives Matters or anything like that? He says, no, it has nothing to do with that. And his dad actually was standing there, and he's like, well, actually, that is the flag that was from the Confederate nation of the South, and they were all about black slavery. He's like, no, that has nothing to do with why I'm putting that up. And he's like trying to be more like an anarchist, supporting the anarchy. So that's kind of the gist of anarchists, is that they opposed the North, who were kind of the mainstream at the time, and it was based on slavery, I believe. So this is where we need to define terms, because sometimes you'll draw conclusions about other people. And then this other girl next door to him put up the gay flag. Now, I don't, she's not gay. I can tell you that right now, because she's been hanging out with this guy for several weeks now. I think she has a new boyfriend, um, but she's kind of younger, and kind of the younger people nowadays are kind of along the lines of, I mean, I don't want to get into, what I feel about any of that, but I do think that people will draw the wrong conclusion about that as well. Like that she was gay or something like that. But the reality is, she's just trying to support people that are struggling to have the relationship that they want without somebody scrutinizing them or judging them. Um, you know, it does say, "Judge not, lest you be judged. In the same manner that you judge others, you'll be judged." Uh, I I agree that there's a certain level of judgment that is fair judgment, I guess, or fair scrutiny. But if you're not willing to accept the same measure of scrutiny against someone else, then you could dish it, but you can't take it, and you need to freaking check yourself. No, you seriously though, you need to be just willing, like doing to others as you would have them do unto you, kind of mentality. You can't be a hypocrite. There's a lot of people out there that are hypocrites. So, you know, and this topic isn't really that interesting to a lot of people, I would imagine, but I feel like it's important that people realize that. Let me. I'm just going to give you an example of what I'm trying to say. My friend from work, I found out that he took almost 2 months off of work because he didn't want to get COVID, right? And apparently the job, wasn't going to force him to work. So he ended up taking a bunch of vacation time or whatever, which I guess he had a bunch of vacation time. Um, now, we started talking about like face masks and stuff, and I'm like telling him how much I don't like face masks and how I feel like they're worthless. They probably can cause more harm than a benefit. And he immediately kind of had this knee jerk thought of like, well, you can't argue against science, like almost like offended. And I'm like, well, just to let you know, I'm not really trying to, debate or whatever. I'm just trying to tell you another side of the story, I guess. And so this, I also told him like, I think people should have the discussion, but the problem is people like me that are coming in from the other side of, uh, the other perspective are being shut down. Modern day book burning on YouTube. I've had 6 videos deleted, and I feel like to not have the freedom to discuss is considered modern day book burning. And so we started getting into this really deep discussion, and it kind of evolved into, like paranormal and like spiritual chakras, and gosh, we just got into like all the different topics. And now at the initial, discussion, I thought that, oh crap, this is going to be one of those conversations where he's probably going to think I'm an idiot, and then he's going to freaking shut me down. And as we got talking, I started realizing how much we had in common, even though we were approaching the big picture from a different angle. And this is really going to be the crux of this video, is I want you to see that everybody has a place in the world. If you look at like the human body, or even just any body of like an animal or something like that, if you look at each organ, it's an assembling of cells that take on basically a responsibility, and each organ has its function, and then you end up, you know, it is what it is. It's not gonna, a liver is not gonna freaking get all butthurt and say, no, I want it to be a heart, because they have two completely different functions. And I'm starting to think that culture has certain similarities, uh, because I feel like each culture brings a certain element to our reality that basically, when you have two worlds or two cultures collide, so to speak, you might see a bunch of sparks. But, in a lot of ways, like when like two storm fronts come at each other, you'll see a bunch of lightning. And there's something amazing about the little patterns that you see in reality. And when you see something clash, you see sparks, you see like just an amazing display of nature. And, you know, when you take, so like, here's the image. You have a big, vast puzzle, and you're always looking for the puzzle pieces that are identifiable, like the colors. You match up the edges and corners, and you start building a kind of a frame, or like a skeleton or something, and then you start adding to that and expanding. Now I started realizing that each culture that comes together, or each ideology that comes together, it actually it contributes to the puzzle. So does that make one ideology wrong and the other one's right, or the vice versa? Or I just feel like, and people are probably going to look at me like I'm a freaking heretic, but I think that people should realize that there's a contribution that each one of us are actually bringing to the table. And I believe that, there's something to our contributions that create a beautiful image, or a beautiful, or an awe, an an awe, something that just like brings out the amazement of nature. Uh, when you actually have two ideologies collide, the beauty is that people can blend together and share in contrast. But when you start shutting somebody down, that reminds me of like shutting down an organ because it doesn't function the way that you want it to. That doesn't look good for the body when you shut down an organ. Ultimately, it's going to kill. Like, the house divided will fall, right? That was in my last video I put it out. A house divided cannot stand. So I think that there is a lot of patterns that people should just consider. Um, I appreciate you guys listening to my rants. I know that sometimes I'm just like all over the map, but I'll be making some other videos here soon. Just trying to get my footing as far as like my side business and passing out door hangers and stuff. And I'm heading to my day job now. So, anyways, guys, that's it. If you have any thoughts or questions, feel free to leave me a message. Give me a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't. And if you don't get notifications, ring the bell. I think that if you're into the paranormal and into the spiritual and into the fringe topics and into conspiracies or whatever, I try to touch on a lot, most of it. So um, I appreciate having the community here. I'm probably going to be doing an interview with one of my subscribers. Man, I met a lot of really cool people through the Brian Stavely interview I did. I think I got like 60 new subscribers or whatever, and or maybe more, 70, 80, who knows. Um, but I think his name is Mike Seymour. I'm going to be talking to him eventually one day. Both of our lives are busy, and honestly, I think that you know. He's gonna have some awesome. He did a video that's like gaining traction really fast, and I think he went from like 8 subscribers to like I don't know, maybe like 200 or 300 now. So just like overnight, like in a week, he made a really good video, and I reposted it. If you guys haven't seen it, it's a close look at the beer bug or something like that. I named it something different, but it's basically about the best compilation of the C19 stuff that you'll find. It was a very well done video, but and just real quick, the last thing I'm going to mention is one of my favorite YouTube channels, known as Bright Insight. I've been following this guy for several years actually. His name's Jimmy, and something pretty cool happened. I was watching one of his videos, and I noticed that had he said he was at a store in his local area, and it was called Winco, and I'm thinking, okay, Wincos are out here, and then he's like, yeah, I'm over in Boise, Idaho. I'm like, what? I actually live in Boise, Idaho, and this guy has like a pretty huge following, and he's like, yeah, if you ever want to reach out to me, just go over to my Instagram. So I ended up heading over there, and well, he posted something about being interested in expanding his YouTube channel and basically networking with others, like maybe in his subscriber base. And I actually decided to reach out to him on Instagram, and I didn't think that he was gonna get back to me, but like 3 or 4 weeks later, he responded, and I told him that I live like kind of in this area that's like outside of, it's like Garden City is what it's called, and he's like, yeah, I'm like 10 minutes away. We should get together and have a beer or coffee or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, let's freaking coordinate. And honestly, I think we're probably gonna get together in the next week or two, but I don't know. We're gonna have to kind of dance around our schedules here, go back and forth until we hone in on a time. But yeah, this guy has like over 1 million subscribers on his channel. Freaking man, I'm like this little channel, 2,500 people, and I just love the thought of networking with other YouTubers, and that's kind of what this whole thing is to me, is the community. We're a community of truth seekers, knowledge seekers, understanding, uh, and obviously this is my place where I can vent. So, anyways, but yeah, that's basically it. I'll keep you in the loop. I would like to interview Jimmy. That would be pretty freaking sweet. So But I'll keep you guys in the loop and as to what happens with that. So, anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. All right, bye.